Hello, welcome to our Insurancewebx Mentors Masterclass. Today, we're talking about the secret of selling cash value life insurance educational workshops. I'm Coach Jeremy Nason. A little about me before we get started. I've been in the business now 31 years. I started when I was 17 in the industry. I'm 48 years old. I've been doing teaching sales and marketing the past 25 years. I have helped thousands of agents literally double, triple, or quadruple their incomes by teaching them solid practices of marketing and sales processes with a big emphasis on questions and asking the emotional questions that separates us from the other advisors out there. How do we really communicate with our prospects? So we're going to focus a lot on questions today throughout the workshop process. We're going to talk about the hows and whys to do them also, because workshops, when properly done, are a great entry point to people learning about you and your practice and what you can offer them to help them grow their financial well-being. All right. So the first question we want to talk about is, you know, why workshops? What's the point of doing a workshop? Well, there's a couple of things that you have to think about here. Workshops, the goal of any kind of workshop we hold, whether it's a workshop for a school, a meet and greet, a lunch and learn, a speaking engagement. These are all types of workshops that we do as far as personal events. The only goal of these events is to get appointments, not to educate the prospect, not to convince them to buy your product, but to get them to want to sit down and meet with you. We're selling you and what you can help them do. If we educate the prospect and give them the answer on how to fix a situation, why do they need to meet with us? A lot of agents will spill the jelly beans in the lobby. Pardon my stealing Tom Hagner's line for a minute there. Is we spill the jelly beans in the lobby and give the answer to the answer to the problem right at the very beginning. And then when the client sees that, prospect sees that, they take it to their current advisor. Especially in the annuity marketplace. Now, with the middle income family marketplace, how to sell cash for life insurance to average people workshops, you don't have that many advisor competitions. It's a lot of a marketplace, but we still want to just give them enough for them to see the power and benefit we can provide for them. All right. Part two of why workshops is for a lot of people, for most people in the US, Canada, around the world, we hate being sold. We hate meeting with advisors or salespeople. We try to avoid it at all costs, right? I know personally, I try to avoid salespeople. My wife does too. All my kids have been taught the same thing. So if that's the norm, to avoid salespeople, why do workshops work? Because in a workshop setting, people can come and hear the information and feel like they can be a part of the group, but hidden in the group at the same time. It's like, why do wildebeest and all these other animals run together in herds? Because it's safer. The herd mentality is safeness in the group. So when we pick one off, it doesn't hurt so bad. It's just one. The many are safe. Same thing goes here. So the many feel safe in these opportunities, in these workshops. So there are the two reasons why we do the workshops. Okay, because the group mentality makes it safe, and the goal is just to get the appointment. If you remember those two things, the rest can be a lot easier. Okay, so again, there's a lot of these other IMO companies, carriers teaching how to do educational workshops and seminars and selling product during the seminar. It doesn't work. It's a very low conversion rate. All right. Now, in my workshops that I've been teaching for the past 25 years, the average agent will pull between 35 and 45% from a workshop of the attendees. Annuities, life insurance, estate plan, doesn't matter. 35 to 45% is the average agent pulls in. The guys I'm training, guys like Phil and Ryan and Ray and Tony and all these guys that I've had great success of working with over the past 20 some years is we pull between 75 and 95% of the group as appointments. So less events, more traction, right? So if we understand the why to have to do the workshops, right? Let's talk about how to fill the event and who the right people are. Because to get 9% or better appointments in your attendees, you got to have the right people there for the event. The right people are the key pieces of this. Sorry. You must have the right people there. So if you don't have the right people there, if you're delivering a message about life insurance to people that are already sick that are dying, you're losing the battle. If you're trying to do an annuity seminar to people all coming out of college, you're wasting time, right? You got to have the right people that need your product or service. So if you're looking at the right people and you have the right people, the right message at the right time, you have the best opportunity to create opportunities for yourself. All right. So filling your workshop, hold on. Oh, my slides are messed up. Okay, great. Okay, so who are the right prospects for our group? Again, we've been talking about. I do a weekly class every Thursday at 3 p.m. Some of you guys are members of the group. I see a lot of friendly faces and hear about that. You guys know what I'm going to talk about next. We've been talking a lot about this lately. That for us to sell life insurance, we have to have people that need life insurance. That's the first thing. We can't sell. We don't want to have 85 single guys they have nothing to protect trying to buy life insurance. It's not going to work real well. But if you have the right people there, people who need life insurance, and then you follow a set of demographics, which I'm going to give you here in a second, it makes your job a lot easier and it broadens your market. So for a lot of guys that are out there trying to sell life insurance as an investment, which has been the big thing on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook about how to sell IUL as an investment tool, that's why these guys are striking out left and right. Our goal is help people see a problem they have, a problem that we can help them fix, and also provide life insurance at the same time. That's what separates us from every other advisor out there. All right. So people that need life insurance is the first criteria, right? People age 35 to 55. Okay. People that have a need for life insurance, families with kids. So 35 to 55 those kids, homeowners, and then you have the special niches. And again, depending on what you do. See, for me, I've been doing this for 30 some years, and my niche has been working with this exact group, but I take it a step further and kind of narrowing my niche down to I like working with families with kids that play travel sports. I'm a baseball coach. I coach travel ball for anywhere from 7 to 18-year-old here in Georgia. Okay, I've been doing it for a long time. And so having that niche allows me to work those families I'm always in front of. I'm always coaching their kids. I'm always working with the kids. I'm always doing some kind of event where I'm just giving volunteering time at a camp. So I'm taking my business, not only incorporate my business into my personal stuff and vice versa. Now, do I go to my baseball events and talk business? Absolutely not. That's not what it's for. But I'm doing it for the right reasons. I want to help kids learn how to play baseball. I love teaching. I love coaching. Right. That's my one of my gifts back that I love doing. And to incorporate that into my business, I don't talk about it at the baseball events, the camps or whatnot. After the games, if people have questions, I'll answer them, defer them to my business, like my dad taught me. He did when he was with Boy Scouts and so forth, and it works out. But so if you have a niche of working with nurses, I have a gentleman in Tennessee who only works with nurses. I have guys that only work with UPS and Amazon employees. So depending on taking, this demographic and finding your niche of what you can specialize in. If you want to specialize working with special needs families, if you have it in there. If you have, years ago, my wife was working in daycare. I did a lot with daycare centers for college planning. So I specialize in college planning for anywhere from 6 months to 5 year olds. Okay. So again, your niche is, what you want to create it to be, and kind of you can narrow it or not use a niche at all. You know, ethnic groups. I have a couple of agents I'm coaching right now that are from India and have that Indian background. So they are working that ethnic marketplace. That's fine too if you want to specialize in that niche. Working with Jewish people, specialize in a niche. You can do these different things. Working with people at your church. I have a gentleman in Virginia who's working with his churches and his other 5 sister churches that he works into. Okay. Then the magic word is incomes. Okay. Now, I don't use incomes. I hate qualifying people based on what they make, because just because they make a little or a lot doesn't mean they have the means to do anything. Okay. Because what I specialize in helping people do is helping people eliminate debt and help them reposition money they're already spending. So do I care about the incomes? Absolutely not. All right. Some guys want to focus on incomes. In the annuity marketplace and senior marketplace, you kind of have to work on a little bit on the income side of it. But the more you get away from incomes, the more opportunities you're going to find. Okay. But if you have to feel like you have to use an income, again, depending on what state you're in, everything's going to be different. Like if I was going to do it here in Dallas, where I am, my average client is between $50,000 and $75,000 a year as a household. Okay. So I might put it from 50 to 100K. All right. Now, if I'm in California, in the Bay Area, I may do, 100 to 200K. If I'm in South Florida, Miami, maybe, 75 to $150. Again, knowing your area, your median incomes, and look at what your average client makes. And try, think about it. When it comes time to find the right people for you. All right. If you have clients already, write a list of all your clients. Write a list and T-chart them up of the pros and cons of those types of clients, and find your client avatar of the client you work best with. And that's the market you want to go after. If you don't have any clientele yet, you don't have a kind of a baseline to build off of, here's some basic demographics to kind of go from. All right. Because this is what I know works from doing this for 30 some years. From me and my dad teaching this for 30 some years. These people are in desperate need of help financially. They have no one contacting them. So I'm smack dab in the middle of my niche. I am 48. I am married. I have 3 kids. I have 3 grandkids. I'm a homeowner. I have kids in travel sports and grandkids in travel sports. I have the income that, a little bit higher income than most, and I have a need for life insurance. And I've had 3 agents contact me since I've been in Georgia. And that's been 20 years now, or 21 years. 3 agents. All right. So if no one's contacting these families that are in desperate need of financial help, in desperate need of learning how to save money, set better financial priorities, no one's doing this. No one's working this marketplace. The only people that are working this marketplace are the people like State Farm and Allstate, selling cheap term insurance, trying to sell some permanent life insurance. You have a few independent agents out there doing it. A lot of guys I teach do this as a great starting point for them, and they graduate from it very quickly. But we have a major problem in this country. And again, for those on the resource center that are my members, on the resource center, when you log into it, there is an article called "Our Nation's in Trouble." I highly recommend you go on there and read that article. Okay, it's one of the last article Lou wrote before he passed, but it tells the story of why we do what we do. and what our mission really is out there. So if you're a member, please go read that. If you want to get a copy of that, shoot me an email at ipscoachjeremy@gmail.com, and I'll send you a copy of the article also. All right. Because we have a major problem in this country. We have our savings rate as a nation is about 3.8% of our income. We went from being the nation of the best savers to one of the nations of the worst savers now. Okay. And if you think about that, if you look at what the baby boomers are happening now, where some of the boomers are not able to retire comfortably, and they were some of the best savers we had. What's the chance of Gen X, the millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha of ever retiring comfortably for only saving 3.8% of our income? The average Gen X worker has about $68,000 in the bank, compared to the boomers at this time would have a couple $100,000. So we have some major issues coming up where we need to be in front of these people to help them change what they're doing. And they're receptive if they know they can trust you, if they know that you actually understand where they're coming from, you understand their problems they're facing. All right. So if we know who the right people are to invite to the events are, we know why to have the event. How do we fill the event? All right. So, sorry, my slides are out of order. I screwed something up. So filling your workshop, your warm market is your key. All right. Now, I know some of you are going to say, I don't have a warm market. For this type of event, everybody has a warm market. You know, we all have these stupid devices we carry in our hands 24/7, right? Even on my broken screen, everything else, right? That have hundreds of names and addresses in there, phone numbers, text, email, text numbers, and so forth. That these are the people wanting to invite to the first workshop, whether they already bought them for you or not. Always invite the people you know, because these people are going to become your vocal advocates of helping you grow your business. All right. Your warm market is your key. Invite all the people you know. You know, make a list of the people you do business with that cut your hair, fix your car, mow your grass, take care of your kids, clean your home, your plumber, your baker, your candlestick maker, all the people that are involved in your life that you touch, and let them know what you do and how you're helping people. You know, even the gas station attendants who pump your gas, they don't care what their incomes are. The bus driver who drives your kids back and forth to school. You know, these people all fit our market. They all need financial help. You know, and if you remind me, I'll tell you a story at the end about a bus driver, because bus drivers don't make crap for income. I can show you how to make a $10,000 commission with a bus driver. All right. Anybody that you know that you invite to the event, the cost of attendance is to bring a friend. You know, so if you know that your neighbors Ginny and Steve are going to come, hey, you know, if you guys want to come to workshop again, come on. Anytime you want to come, just invite a friend with you. Bring a friend with you. It's an instant referral. Instant referrals are great, so that means you don't spend money on marketing. You know, so if you can have these events and you're seeding your audience with people you already know, you're bringing in referrals from the start. Isn't that half the battle already on filling the room? You know, and seed your audience. So, and again, the more, especially for some of us that start off slow public speaking, that are introverted, that have stage fright, seeding your audience is the best thing you can do, because it enables you to have a friendly face in the audience that you can talk to, right? And when you seed your audience, so if you invite, let's say you get 20 couples there, 40 people to a room, all right, and 5 or 6 of your current clients, friends, family, neighbors, you can separate your friends and neighbors into different tables to have a friendly face at every table you have in the event. There's different strategies you can use there, so you have a way to look at a table, to talk to a table without having to talk to somebody you don't know. And it makes a huge impact on the people, on the prospects. All right. So that's the baseline. All right. Now the secondary, there's two more rungs to this of what we do. Because again, you want to have multiple streams of people feeding your workshop, right? So you want to look at your joint venture partners, people that you can reciprocate business on an active strategy. Working with a local PNC agency, if you don't do PNC yourself, if you don't do Medicare, if you don't do health insurance, um, your mortgage brokers, your CPAs, your tax preparers, your attorneys. Some of the banks out there are great partners in that respect. Um, Other agents, that don't do your line of business. There's all kinds of ways we can partner with each other to help grow each other's business. So thinking about even outside of that, like I said, I worked with daycares early on in my career. My wife's a daycare teacher, early childhood education. She got into the schools that she worked at. I was able to do workshops at the schools once a quarter for free, no cost to me. No cost to me was bringing my stuff and setting up a projector and paying. And I bought some donuts and sweet tea. That was the only cost of what it cost me for the event. But creating these partnerships with other small businesses to help their employees, to help their students, working with the PTAs out there, working with the schools, you can create a lot of these joint ventures. We can reciprocate business back and forth very actively. It gets the businesses to market for you. And it's an immediate endorsement of your business. So if you have Joe PNC agent who has 5,000 customers endorsing your product or service, does that give you a higher status than Joe Smith agent down the street? Does that give you an in with every one of those clients? Yes. It gives you again. We talk a lot about elevating status in our practices to make us more important, to make us perceived more important than every other agent out there, with separates from every other Joe agent out there. Okay, you can do lunch for the employees. This is a great with small bit with bigger businesses. I had agents out in Texas, in Southern California, New Mexico, Utah, all work in and with UPS drivers and Amazon, getting in to do lunch and learns with their employees on the clock to help them structure retirement benefits. So there's all kinds of ways you can create these workshops and build these opportunities. All right. Customer loyalty events are another great event you can have. So if you have a lot of current customers, current clients, again, you use them, do a loyalty event, customers bring a friend. Again, it's an immediate benefit for you. All right. And then you have the other ones. You have social media marketing, Facebook events, ads, etc. These Facebook is slightly overused in some businesses, highly underused in some businesses. Ours is highly underused the right way. There's a lot of people out there doing social media ads for selling IUL, selling whole life, infinite banking, estate planning, selling that service, selling that product. Not enough on the problem solving aspect of it. So some properly structured Facebook ads and Facebook events, letting the community know what you're doing is going to bring people there. All right. Now, a lot of areas have county or community pages for the city or county you live in. Where I'm in Paulding County, we have 4 different websites for Paulding County. We have the Paulding County Sports Association, which does all the sports teams, tryouts, that kind of stuff. We have What's Happening in Paulding County, which is our main site, which has all the upcoming events. It's a free site. Anybody can go post on there, post their event, upcoming workshop, a upcoming garage sale, whatever, it doesn't matter. And it's all free. And then we have Pulled Down Unlimited, Uncensored, which is a very negative page. But it has a lot of fun stuff on there. You can do this, and I can post my events on there too, and I get a lot of traction from that. So I can be a little bit more of a jerk on that page and still get people there. Again, having fun, right? So those are some, and then running the ads, boosting post. Facebook gives you a lot of opportunity to get in front of a lot of eyeballs very, very quickly. From the events, you can boost the event. I mean, you can go on to Facebook and boost an article for $5 a day and get it in front of another 100 to 200 people per day. Or run specific ads geared at a target market for your workshop about the problem you're helping people solve. All right. Now, again, I'm not a Facebook specialist. I'm not going to build ads for you typically. But again, learning how some of these strategies work. There are lots of free classes, free videos on YouTube, or you can hire someone that specializes in that marketplace and helping you build those events out. Okay. Again, but it's not hard. You can do it all yourself just by following a few rules, a few specific common rules, I guess, to doing any kind of advertisement. And again, the most basic rule is, you never have just one headline, image, and text. So if you're going to do any kind of advertising on Facebook, you want to have 5 to 50 images, 5 to 50 headlines, 5 to 50 descriptions, depending on how big you want to get. I run about 10, 10, 10. That's the rule I use. 10 headlines, 10 images, 10 descriptions. That way, Facebook can mix. That gives me 10 times 10 times 1,000, 100,000 different combinations there of information that can be spit out. All right. Now, you don't have to be a copywriter and write 10 headlines, 10 descriptions or more. There's a lot of AI out there from Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT that you can go in and have it take your copy you wrote and make different versions of it, different styles, different awareness notes, different tones, and very simply create multiple advertisements very, very easily. All right. One of the most underused things that people still do is press releases. Letting the news channels, radio stations, government offices know that you're having an event. I've had a couple agents on slow news days. They've taken different pieces. They've submitted the different, newspapers and got published and got their event published. Joe Casey, one of the guys I worked with years ago, was a slow news day. He put a press release out for an upcoming workshop he was doing, and he put what we call the VIP interview with you. And it's like 20 or 30 questions about you and your practice that you can answer and send in with your press kit. It's a whole level of things we can do. And it was a slow day on a Sunday. They gave him a half-page advertisement with his VIP interview, upcoming event in the Chattanooga Times. All right. That one event changed everything for his business. He went from averaging, 15, 20 people to an event to 30 to 50 per event overnight. He went from doing, 10 million a year to 25, 30 million a year in annuity sales overnight. So press releases, they're not always going to hit, but when they do hit, they can bring big things. This is how you get on the local news channels. This is how you get your face and name in the paper, the good way. We don't want to see you in handcuffs being led away for abusing a senior or abusing a client for money. We don't want any Bernie Madoffs here. But getting good publicity is always a good thing. All right. Small scale direct mail. I'm not talking about sending thousands of letters, $5,000, 5,000 pieces for $3,000-$4,000. No. Highly targeted mail to a small demographic group locally around you where you're having your event. So typically if I have an event, I'm gonna use a public library or a venue of that nature, and I'm gonna pull a 5 mile radius of people that fit my demographic in that area. So I may have 200, 300, 400 people in that area. I'll send those letters out. Letters, a postcard, something to get in front of them when them having an event. All right. And again, newspaper ads. Again, no newspaper anymore. Very few people read the paper anymore, especially in our marketplace. But what they do go on is the online newspaper websites. And a lot of people are members of the newspaper websites where they have ads online. They can go peruse them as needed. So again, there's lots of different opportunities here. This is just a couple of the rungs we use that you can use and build from. All right. So we've talked about, the warm market, centers of influence, referrals. We've talked about joint ventures. We talked about online advertisements. Let's talk about some long-term strategies. All right. So again, with a workshop, we're not going to just do it once and say it didn't work. Workshops take time to build up to. They're not going to be, hey, we did a workshop, we had 500 people show up, we're off to the races. There's going to be growing pains. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be timing issues. So workshops are a long-term commitment to your business. So if you're going to do them, I would say commit to at least doing 6 over 6 months to give it a fair trial. So you have time to tweak, change, and try different copy, try different pieces that are going to get people there. It doesn't work always on the first try. No matter how hard I try, how much effort I put into it, there's always something that comes up that I have to make change to. Something didn't hit right, didn't come out right, or whatnot. So you got to be patient and really commit to doing it for the long term. But there's some other strategy you can add to make your your business even more pertinent. All right. One of those is building nextdoor.com community. If you're not part of nextdoor.com, you're missing a huge opportunity. All right. Nextdoor is the Facebook of local homeowners and people locally in the area. Very targeted for your demographic area. All right. I went on when I started Nextdoor back in 2004 or 5 or 6. It was a brand new company at that point. I had maybe 10 people in my network. When I moved homes, I moved neighborhoods about 4.5, 5 years ago. When I left my neighborhood that I had built, I went from 10 people to over 8,000 people in my neighborhood. All right. Where I was posting on there continuously. I was posting articles. I was posting little free report things, different things you can do. All right. And got great penetration with it. Now, again, I'll give you some. My guys in class know what I'm going to say next. 3 weeks ago, before I got COVID, I was bored on a Wednesday afternoon, and I decided, I'm going to put an ad up on Nextdoor. All right. And I went on Nextdoor. I wrote a very simple ad that was non-salesy. Just basically, I was, hey, I'm looking for 5 families to help. I'm looking for 5 families that want to change their financial future. If you're struggling with debt, student loans, financially strapped and paycheck to paycheck, if you're interested in getting help to alleviate these pains, DM us. All right. Now, again, very simple advertisement, not very wordy, not salesy at all. I'll put on the 31-year vet of the insurance industry, financial service industry, and I'm not selling anything. All right. Now, out of that, when I ran that ad on a Wednesday afternoon, I got 11, it was 10 people the first day, and I made 2 appointments. By the end of the second day, I had 13 different conversations with people, and I made 6 appointments off that little ad. Okay. So being involved in these different community groups, whether it be Nextdoor, Facebook.com, meetups, all these different tools, all the different these mediums, you can share this information and put your upcoming workshop on there. there's rules to next door. You can buy a business account. I don't have a business account. I do everything on my personal side, and I make sure it's not salesy. So I'm just promoting events. I'm promoting this upcoming financial event, you know, and kind of keeping it really simple. Again, when I do these events, and the last one I did was a couple of years ago, uh, and I ended up getting 5 from next door to my last workshop. All right, I had 15 people at the workshop, all 15 couples, and 5 of them came from next door. So, this is a tool that's underused, but when done properly, keeping it non-salesy, being more information driven on that, more content driven, you can get a lot of people. All right. Community colleges. Community colleges offer a great opportunity because this is one of the few ways you can get paid to prospect. All right. So hosting your event at the community college, teaching adult ed classes, you can get a lot of people to come to your class. You're getting an immediate endorsement from the community college about your practice, and you get paid to host these classes, whether it's doing it over one night or 5 nights, doesn't matter. Tony did a great job with this, piloting that program. I was talking to one of the ladies that runs the community college, Georgia Highlands College down here, and I asked her, I said, how often are you guys looking for people to teach classes? And her answer was always. And I said, what kind of classes are you struggling to have that you have a lot of want for? And she goes, financial classes. We have one guy teaching Social Security. That's it. No one's teaching debt management. No one's teaching life insurance, retirement planning at these community colleges. And it's a great way to get people to your workshops, get paid to prospect, and build. And you can build around that. It's a whole nother strategy in and of itself, or it can be. But again, it's important to have multiple streams of people coming in. Not using just one strategy is not enough. With anything we do, we want to have a minimum of 3 different ways we're funneling people into the opportunity. If we're not getting 3 or more, the chance of our success go down dramatically. Unless you're going out and spending $3,000 or $4,000 on a mailing, you're going to get a guaranteed, 15, 20 people there, if not a little more. Okay. So if you have the money to throw at it, great, do it. It's going to make your job a lot easier. It's going to almost guarantee the success of the event. But for a lot of us coming in to the business, starting out, transitioning into something new, keeping the cost down is imperative. So these strategies keep the cost down so we can do this for almost nothing. A couple $100 an event. I don't know where you can turn a couple $100 and a couple $1,000 overnight, but this is one of them. So I can get 5, 10 couples to a room once a month. If I'm the world's worst salesperson and I only get 50% appointments and make 1 sale per event, one sale out of 10 couples, that's 10% closing rate. That's horrible. I can make between $4,000 and $8,000 per case. I'm turning a couple $100 into $4,000 to $8,000 pretty quick. So it's very duplicatable, even on the worst of the worst. Now, I've never met the guy who can only close 1 out of 10 sales. I have not met them yet. Right? So if our average closing rate, in the industry is about 33%. So a third of the people we see, we close. So if we do an event where we have 10 people there, we're going to close 3. 3 sales, that's 12 grand per event. It adds up really, really quick. And the better you are, again, the more information you have about questions and technique and so forth, the higher those numbers get. Tony does an event, he gets 90% appointments, he closes 95% of the people he sees. When Phil was doing this, Phil was getting 95, 100% appointment ratio and closing 85% of the people he sat with. Phil was the guy who went from doing, outside sales at Granger to life insurance In a year's process, in his first year, he made $800,000 doing educational events, doing seminars, spending some money for training and learning this business, but using this exact market we're talking about. All right. So the how, the why, fill in the room. Now what? You know, so it's time to build a relationship with the prospect. So we got them to the event. How do we make them feel like they're part of the event? How do we get them to take the next steps? All right. So we want to build the relationship right from the onset. So there's a couple of strategies we employ that are kind of contradictory to some of the things that are being taught today. But again, it's about the people. It's about you engaging the people, right? So a lot of the advisors out there are being taught that you don't meet with your clients when they walk in the door. You don't meet the prospect when they walk in the door, when they're signing in, whatever. That's what your assistant's for. I disagree. All right. I want to be able to shake hands, put a face with a name right from the start. I want to start building that relationship from the minute they meet me for the first time. They meet my staff for the first time. I want to shake hands, give them a name tag. It's not below me. I want to make sure I want them to see we're on the same level, that I'm a real person that's really trying to help them. Okay. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're not going to be at the back of the room being introduced, like we're some star, superstar being introduced on the stage of the Grammys. We're not that. We're Joe Smith Financial Advisor. We're working with average families. We don't need to have that too big for the britches or that separation that we're too good for everybody else. That puts a sour taste on people's mouths. Being that, thinking you're holier than thou is the attitude I'm trying to explain. And people don't want that. They want people that are personable. You need to connect with the people. That's what our whole job is building relationships, connecting with people. Insurance is not something we can sell as a widget. It's a relationship-based sales process. So you need to be personable, reach across on an emotional level. It's not going to be very emotional topics. You need to be real with the people, not faking compassion or care for the situation, but really helping them, show them that you understand their situation, that you understand where they're coming from, what their problems are, and that you do really care about them. So how do you build rapport? Where do everyone wants to come in? Keep it really simple. Shake a hand, kiss a baby, shake a baby, whatever you do. Help them find a seat, whatnot. Have a short conversation. Thank them for coming in. Make them feel like they're important. If we make people feel like they're not important, just another number, what's the chance of them actually doing business with you if that's the case? Slim. Where if you greet everybody, you shake their hand, thank you for coming, have a short conversation, help find a seat, get them set up for the evening. You're building that relationship right from the start. You're building that you want them there, that you need them there, that they're wanted, and people love to feel wanted. All right. All right. So why my slides all messed up today? All right. So one of the things we talk about during the events, and again, I'm big on asking questions, is we don't tell, we ask. We want to provide basic information that makes the prospect think. Okay. But if we tell them, this situation exists, this is how you should feel about it, versus asking them, getting to think about how it affects them, which is going to be the better way to do it. Again, I've been told I need to lose weight for 20 years, right? And the doctor said, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight. That's all I've ever heard. But when we're told something, we have two reactions to being told something. We can accept it, that we believe what they're saying and move forward, or we reject it, which is the easier path. Rejection, right? It's easier to say, nah, well, I'm going to lose weight. Now, when the doctor comes back and says, Jeremy, thinking about, your health for a minute here, if you were able to drop 20 or 30 pounds, how much better would you feel? Would that alleviate some of the back pain and knee pain you're having? Would that give you more energy to keep up with your baseball kids or your grandkids? See, when you ask the questions and you get them to think about how it affects them, it becomes their idea. They want to fix the problem. They want to solve this problem now. Same thing goes with what we teach. So the more we get people to think about how it affects them and get them to lets them understand that we understand the problem. It helps them to see that we actually understand what we're talking about, that we understand how this affects families. That's what we're trying to portray to them. So we ask questions to encourage the thought process, to get them thinking. Because again, there's nothing worse than sitting in front of an audience for 45 minutes, lecturing them on why to buy life insurance. Who's going to sit through that? I'm a glutton for punishment, but that's almost torture. I've been some bad presenters. I've had we've had teachers we lecture us for 45 minutes at a time, and don't get engage with the community, engage with the audience, and it becomes very stale, very bleh, very quickly. When you're encouraging thought, asking questions, you get more of an interaction with the audience. And the more interaction you have, the more people want to work with you. They see that you're the advisor they've been looking for. The more questions you ask, it helps them come to the conclusion for themselves that you know what you're talking about, that this is something they need to fix. That's the difference. See, if I tell you you need to buy life insurance, here's why. It's not your rejection. Right? Now, if I asked you, said, okay, so thinking about your family for a minute here, if something were to happen to you and you didn't make it home tomorrow, whether it be from a car accident, you hit by a bus, run over by the Twinkie, whatever it is, what would your family do if you didn't make it home tomorrow? How would that affect them financially? What would they do? How do they feel about you not being here? Taking it a step further than what we're just telling people. Ask the questions, get them to think about how it affects them. The more we think we can get that to understand how it affects them, the more opportunity we have to make an opportunity for ourselves, to provide a solution to the problem. Right? So, so again, on the don't tell, ask information, this is a part of one of our slides I use in our trusted advisor program called Living Debt Free and Truly Wealthy. And this presentation is educating the consumer about how big a problem debt is, some of the facts of life, a little bit about taxation, and showing them there can be a better way to provide for their future. All right. Now, again, this is a little older stats, but it still does the job. So most advisors would say, the average person has a credit card balance of 16,000, right? And they go through and tell you, what you want to, what they want you to know about that. Average person has 16,000 in debt. They're paying 15% interest rate. So they're spending $2,400 a year on that debt. They're telling you constantly what you're doing. So let me ask you, if you have a credit card balance of 16,000 with interest of 15%, how much that 16,000 debt really cost you per year? Is there a differentiation in what we just said? Give them the same stats, but we're getting them to think about how it affects them. Isn't it costing you $2,400 a year? Is that $2,400 better in the bank's pocket or in yours every year? What happens if you save that $2,400 a year for the next 5 years? What would it be worth? $12,000. That's not the kind of interest. How much better off would you be if you didn't pay all that interest to the bank? How would you feel? What would you be able to do with all extra money? See, it's about getting that conversation started, getting them to ask some questions so they understand that this is a problem you're facing, that most people are facing. And how do we solve it? right? So so let's take it. Let's get this wrapped up. So I know we're close to running out of time here. So now what? So the event happened. You got people in the seats. You filled the seats. You did the presentation amazingly. Do you ask for the appointment? No, you never ask for the appointment. All right. This is one of those strategies I'm going to teach you guys. Write this down, take screenshots of anything you want to see from here on, because this is the real crux of what makes us different than most. All right. The minute you ask for an appointment, you're one of those salespeople. All right. You never ask for an appointment. You know, when you think of an appointment, when I think of an appointment, you know, I think of pain. I think of it, that emotional, gut wrenching. Oh, I got to meet with somebody. I have to meet with my, you know, my doctor, my accountant, my lawyer. It's going to cost me money. It's a painful experience. A lot of people associate the word appointment with pain. Dentist, doctor, lawyer, tax preparer. I got to pay someone to fix something. So get rid of the word appointment from your vocabulary altogether. It's a horrible word, and it's one of those we just forget ever using. So if I can't ask the appointment, how do I get them? Well, in the event that we teach, the living different the event we teach, you know, we have a couple of steps we use. Okay, step one is we use on every one of our presentations. There's a slide at the end. It's our 40-minute slide. Okay, and again, screenshot this, steal it, whatever you guys want to do. All right. All right. So we want to get people thinking. And we want to get them to understand, we understand their problems, and we want to give them the opportunity to see if we can help them. All right. So when I'm done my presentation, you know, I'm going to ask the group, let me ask you, is it worth forcing to see if we can help you reduce all your debts? Is it worth forcing time to see if we can help you reduce your income taxes, to increase your savings? Is it worth forcing to see if we can help you get all the better things in life? You know, is it something you want to do for yourself? All right. So again, step one is if you ask us, you're positioning for the appointment without asking for it. So they're getting people to raise their hand. So you can, at this point, you say, okay, on your sheet, you know, on the evaluation sheet, if you want to set a time with us, please grab a time, or I'll send somebody around my assistant coming around to book some times with you guys, to give you some times. Thank you guys for coming in, blah, 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 and close it up. All right. Step two is the one-on-ones. All right. Now, when I say one-on-ones, I mean one-on-ones, you know, so during the same event. Again, a lot of speakers will do their speaking and they leave. Let their assistant close up and do all the basic stuff. This is where you're selling people on meeting with you. All right. This is what we call kind of the white glove, kind of a handshake approach to setting appointments. Because again, our clients, our prospects don't call us because they want to buy life insurance. They don't. They want to meet with us once they understand, once we have a conversation about what we can do to help them. This gives us our chance to have that conversation with the prospect. All right. So going person to person, thanking them for coming in, and see if they have any questions. You know, if they have questions, great. You know, if they have questions, you know, like, what do you think of the presentation? You know, do you have any questions? What do you think return? Well, there are a lot of places to get the return, but I don't know what's right for your situation. It sounds like they're going in review situation. Does that make sense? Right. So we're not giving them any answers. We're still not dumping the gentleman in the lobby. We're agreeing that, hey, there's lots of places you get 8% today, but I don't know what's going to be right for you. And I don't want to get into a situation here with all these people. Is there a time we can get together and review your situation and kind of see if we can find the right place for you to accomplish that? Make sense? Or two, what are you selling? And these are probably the two most pertinent questions I get at my workshops. I use 8% return in my presentation, which always gets people, because I'm using index returns and so forth. And what are you selling? Well, we offer a variety of finance vehicles, but they may or may not fit your situation. And I don't want to get your situation now. It sounds like we need to get and go over your situation and see what will fit your situation. That makes sense. So we're giving them a very vague answer because we don't know. I don't know. One of my buddies, Ryan, that I've been coaching for years, he's the king of this. He is the most smart ass man I've ever met with his clients. I mean, this guy, his average client has about $2 million in the bank. All right. And his answer when people ask, what are you selling? Where do you get the returns? Whatever their question is, his answer is, hell, I don't know. I don't know your situation. So honestly, I can't give you any recommendations on what you can do or what you can't do. But sounds like we're going to sit down and talk about it. And he's a cocky SOB, but it's what he does. And it works for him. I can't pull that off. I'm not nearly as clean as he is on it. But again, when you find, taking the technique to another level, I'm giving you the basics of how to do it. You can take the basics and elevate them to what your game is at that point. All right. So what if they don't have questions though? Well, again, this is where your question training comes into play, where you separate yourself from other agents. Now you can ask a few questions about their situation in a general light to see if you can find an opportunity for them to meet with you. In my training, we talk a lot about question chains in our resource center, our live event trainings, and question chains. I don't like the word script. Scripts are just robotic and icky, and I just don't care for them. Right. But helping you build your own question chain of what your message is, what you're trying to accomplish is what separates you from everybody else. It's what you're passionate about. It's what you like doing in this business. For me, it's taxes. I love hiding people's money from the government. I love helping people get the biggest tax refunds possible. I love giving them tax-free income the government can't see, smell, taste, or touch. That's what I love doing. So if they don't have any questions in this situation, do you mind if I ask you a quick question? With the way the economy is today, the government spending $10,000 on hammers, 56 billion on Ukraine, and all kinds of stuff. Who's ultimately responsible for all the money the government's spending? The taxpayer, right? So how does the government get money from the people? Taxes. So do you think taxes are going to be higher or lower over the next 15, 20 years? Probably higher. So if taxes go up and when you retire and you just take out more to cover the taxes, how long is your money going to last? How do you feel about that? What's your strategy to avoid paying those extra taxes? If I can show you a couple of strategies that will help you avoid paying those taxes, is it worth what I'm talking about? So you can use your question chains to those in those situations, taking it a step further than what most agents would. Most agents said, "You have any questions? Thank you for coming. Have a great day." You're losing opportunities. We need to work on, as an industry, converting more people to actual prospects. That conversion. So if we have 100 people we're talking to, only getting 5 or 10 of that group, we've lost all the money we spent in the leads, all the money we spent in the workshops. We've lost this money. It's gone. It's out in the wind. But if we can have a better job converting these people, so we don't have to buy 100 leads. Now we only need 10 to get our 5 sales. How much more profitable is your business going to be? How much easier is your business going to be able to do that? All right. So there's 4 no-nos to doing workshops, and these I'm steadfast on. Being too product specific. I'm not selling a product at a workshop. I'm not talking about why to buy my variable annuity, my Allianz 222, or my uh, Midland IUL, blah, 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 whatever. It's product specific sales have no business in workshops. All right. Overselling, overhyping the product, overhyping yourself. It's not about you, it's about the client's problem. The more we talk about how great we are, the more we're turning off our clients. You know, the first 15 minutes of any opportunity, whether it be a workshop, a sales presentation, a sales call, an appointment, whatever process you use, the first 15 minutes, anytime you're talking to a prospect, should be about them and them only. Nothing about you. It's always about them. Right? Get rid of the jargon. Betas, PE curves, caps, rates, participation, all these industry terms we love throwing out to show how smart we are. They don't matter to our prospects and clients. Get rid of the jargon and talk to them about the problem. Tonality and cadence. You know, throughout this presentation, I've changed the tone of my voice, the cadence, the rate I speak at numerous times to inflect different things during the presentation. All right. I do that on purpose. All right. We don't want to have the monotone guy who speaks for an hour that just says the same thing in the same tone, the same cadence, no compassion, no inflections in his voice. That's that boring blah presentation. When we control the tonality and cadence of what we do, we can inflect different areas of enthusiasm, compassion, care, understanding, just to help the client know we actually are we are tracking with them. All right. So, you know, again, there's a lot more to doing workshops. We didn't talk about the presentation piece at all. We didn't talk about, you know, other pieces of information here. We only have an hour to go through a lot of information, right? But if you need more help on these trainings, one, check out our resource center. If you go to insuranceproshop.com, it's the very first link on the page. It talks about being $39.95 a month, whatever it is. And that's our resource center. That is the online University of Marketing Sales. We do a live training class every Thursday at 3 p.m. religiously. We very rarely miss on different topics, Q&A sessions. It is probably one of the faster growing community events I've seen. And I host them every week. And I've only missed one class in 4.5 years. All right. And I have a partner in there, David Kinder. David is not affiliated with the Insurance Pro Shop, but he has been a longtime member. And he is one of the guys I turn to as a coach that is going to be the next up and coming coach in this industry, I have a feeling. So he's a blessing to have. But if you need more information, detailed information, all my training kits have a workshop component to them. The PowerPoints, the letters, the scripts, the invitations, the ad slicks, everything to help you find the right people, how to market them, what to market to them, to get people to fill the rooms, to make those sales. All right. So I'll shut up now. I know there's a question in the chat. If you guys have any questions, you know, feel free to ask. You know, again, I got a few minutes here. Well, we're already over time, but I got 10 minutes. We can answer any questions you guys have. I know we had a lot of technical issues with people getting into the class. So if you were having issues getting into the class, I apologize. There's a lot. I know I have 15 messages beside me and people couldn't get in the class. So Scott has a question. Okay, I'll give Scott a call. Okay, perfect. But yeah, if you have questions, you know, put them in the chat. Unmute yourself. I'll be happy to answer anything you guys want to know. No questions?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned that you ask emotional questions. Are there not four different personality types and you ask certain questions based on the person type?
Yes and no. Yeah, the emotional questions I ask are definitely just generalized questions that I can ask anybody. I know there's a lot of the personality measurements and people are getting into now, have been into, and they can help you fine tune some of the stuff you want to ask. But in the group setting, it's hard to know what person to be talking to a lot of times, right? So again, the only time the only difference I make is logic and emotion. So I have someone who's definitely more of an engineer type mindset, very logical mindset. I may ask the questions a little differently than I would of someone that's more just for lack of a better term, a normal person, for lack of a better term. That's the only time I differentiate a lot of times. And again, the more I just talk to people about the problem they have and asking the emotional questions, is where the sales are all made anyway. So even with the engineer types, the logical types, the question they may differ slightly, but they're all going to end up in the same area. You know, how do you feel about that? What would you like to see happen? Who would that affect? Who would that leave out? What would happen? And really getting to think about how it's going to transition into their situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Jeremy, I have a quick question.
Hey, Ruffle, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, sir. Do you have a prepared presentation or do you have a PowerPoint? Because I know that you do, most of your training with PowerPoint. How do you do that, or just
Yeah,
some points you want to hit?
in all the toolkits we offer, we have different presentation pieces, different PowerPoints, fully scripted, ready to go. Okay.
Okay.
These are, again, they're ready to go. They can be used right out the box. Put it that way. Now, again, with any presentation you're doing for yourself, you want to customize it to you. Okay. Because if it feels like it's robotic or it's not from you, people aren't going to buy in. I
Okay.
live in Georgia. I know you live in Texas. So
Yes.
we can pretty much say the same thing for the most part. We can get away with it. But certain
Yeah.
things, if I go to California and try to say something, I say in the workshop, they don't fly as well, right? Because
I
again,
see.
things can be somewhat seen political, even talking about taxes in general. But
Mhm.
so some people are for paying taxes, people against paying taxes.
Yeah.
In that nature. So we try to make sure we customize to your audience, to you, to your message. Because again, the more it comes from you, the more it helps people buy into your message, your beliefs, your solution.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I do a lot with the Hispanic community, but they speak both English and Spanish at the same time. So we have what we call Tex-Mex here.
Yep.
So if we can incorporate some of that, we can incorporate some of that. I know that I have a lot of great feedback when I do that because
Mm-hmm.
hey, he's from here, he knows us, he's one of us. So okay, well, thank you for that.
Absolutely. That's the idea. Is good when you can help bridge the gap, and get on their side of the table with them. It makes our job easier. Makes your job easier. So again, like for some of my other clients that I'm dealing with that are from India that have Indian heritage, putting some stuff in their, I hate to put it, but broken English type, makes it easier for them to say, so they don't mispronounce words. That comes up a little cleaner for them. So again, it's following to your steps, to what your message is, to what your beliefs are, and to your speaking level a lot of times too. So breaking it down even more simply than we have it, to make sure the client understands it. Not saying our clients are stupid, but the way we say certain things, like tax deferral, most clients don't know what a tax deferral is. They don't have a clue, So breaking some of those things down, getting away from some of those terms makes it a little easier.
Thanks, makes sense.
Any other questions, guys? All right. Well, if we really, of course, we'll wrap up. If you guys have any questions, my number's on the screen. If you need to email me, it's ipscoachjeremy@gmail.com or jeremy@insurancepurchase.com. Either one works. I'm here to help you guys always. So if you have any questions, need any help, want to talk about workshops more, learn about this business a little better, let us know. Brian, I lost last drive. We don't offer the drives anymore. Give me a call. We do offer a online version now, and we can talk about it. So give me a call at 877-297-4608. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, week. For my members, I'll see you guys in 2 days for the class, and we're gonna have some fun. All right, make it a great day, everyone.
Thank you.